no, right. I mean, it's like you're also projecting, like it's, but like if you think about it, interior design in a lot of ways is like you're projecting your personal brand. So like if your house was your website, you're projecting your stylistic brand, or it's a combination of you and your partners, like it's almost like two companies that merge, right? And then you have, like,
It merged. You mean it was a take? For me, it was a takeover, man.
well, so sometimes the ideas like can really like play well together because you have two people that have similar styles. Other times it's a little bit more contrasting, but yeah, I think what I'm getting at is that there's actually like a lot of parallels here, and one of the ones that I think is really interesting that during the COVID and the pandemic, this idea of embracing flexible spaces is becoming very popular. So like new and remodeled homes, often like a home office, they have a flex option for like, I think the best one's like new builders. If you look at new construction houses, they're building kitchens that are like virtual for like schoolwork, crafting, a home office. So you're having these spaces that can function a lot of different ways because it's reflecting the way that people are living their lives. Like there's, parents that are jumping from, work calls to teach their kid homework. I mean, you know this better than anyone as someone that's been working full time and has homeschooling kids. Like, I guess it's like that idea of making websites flexible, I think is interesting. This is probably a stretch, but I kind of think this is similar to like of a progressive web app in a way, where you're building one experience that works across devices. It's flexible in that regardless of where you have it, it has a consistently good experience. So that's why I think that if there's a way to tie flexible home designs into web design, I see that as like the rise of progressive web apps and why PWAs continue to do.
Well, I mean, so it's like,
is that a reach?
No, I think so. The trend is spaces which can be customized to fit the needs of the moment rather than being a fixed thing, right? That's kind of it. So progressive web design, responsive web design. Basically, it comes from architecture anyway. It's like having buildings that can change shapes, and because we were influenced by graphic design, it's very fixed pixel, fixed centimeter, millimeter medium, and so responsive web design was all about the system accommodates for the different screens that it's in. So yeah, I mean that's 100% true, and I think especially in large cities where space is a premium, like SF, like you could buy a shed for like $1 million because there's nothing, whatever. There's a huge requirement to customize the space as much as possible. Although things may be changing slightly now that I think the world is going to move away from focused on like these big cities when they have different hubs. But then at the same time, people's home spaces have to be customizable for this. So the furniture you'll start seeing is a bit more interesting.
Yeah, like you've seen the furniture that pops up everywhere now where it's like, it's a table, but then the table turns into 4 chairs, and the 4 chairs can be like moved in different ways. So it's like, it's not just like the home itself, but the furniture that's in the room is also flexible for different needs and different situations. So I actually love that. I love that people like a lot of these furniture companies. They're like, I think of what am I thinking of? It's like the brand that's like
Transformers, but for furniture.
Yeah.
I mean, this is very common in Turkish culture. Like every sofa can turn into a bed, because the idea is that you're so like you try to accommodate for guests as much as possible, and you're so inviting. Yeah. When we were buying furniture, every sofa has to turn into a bed, because someone might come round and they can't travel back home, and so you're accommodating for them. And like Ottoman furniture where the beds can open up and there's like storage inside of them, and like storage is hidden. That's a very common thing in Turkish culture. Like you'll see a chair and then you open the chair itself, and there's like, it's basically like the kids' toys, because that's basically where you're storing everything. So I mean, I see that, and obviously it's like custom. Like, so that's the interesting thing about our home is, my wife is very good when it comes to designing and crafting stuff, and so she likes designing things in such a way where there's so much space to store stuff, but you'd never see it in public. So it's like things like collapse and are hidden. So the house looks very minimalistic in some respects, but then you open up a drawer and suddenly there's so much stuff going on inside. But yes, I would say that responsive web design, responsive spaces, that does make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think